Hello, and happy Friday, everybody. It's a great week in the market. It's a great week for RWAs. Kyle, I am hyped up. I'm your host as well, Herwig. Pleasure, everybody. For those of you who are new, we are covering the latest and greatest in the market here on the Security Token Show. I cannot wait to dive in. But Kyle, how are you doing this week, man?
Herwig, I'm great. I just got back from DevCon in Thailand. Major shout out to so many of the great companies there that I was able to meet with. And the world tour continues for both of us, as I understand.
That's right. I am back from New York. I definitely did not make such a brutal trip flight-wise. So you definitely get the commendation.
26 hours, bro.
Oh, Lord. Someone's got to do it. Well, thank you. And I can't wait to hear more of your insights on that. But yes, we have announced something pretty exciting for those of you who don't know yet. So Kyle, I'm dying with anticipation. I'm going to jump right into it.
Lead us off.
Well, everybody, this is a new segment on the Security Token Show you can get excited for, because if you haven't heard, Security Token Market has launched something pretty awesome and new for the industry. It is a completely decentralized crypto community for RWAs. We are calling the RWA Foundation. So let me back up a little bit, back up even before STM, right? If we look back at 2008, 2009, even the narrative behind Bitcoin, right, was all about disrupting the banks, disrupting government currencies and control, and decentralizing that, right, and banking the unbanked, and being able to create that democratization, if you will, of markets. But if we fast forward to today, despite Bitcoin now hitting all-time highs, right, we haven't quite seen that vision come to a full reality that at least I think Satoshi would have originally wanted to see. And I think we've seen an evolution in the markets, right? We've seen an upgrades in consensus protocols and new blockchain applications, including around tokenization, right? And tokenization, I think everybody has come to learn hand in hand with blockchain, is the future operating system of capital markets, of finance, and the economy. We've now seen to date pretty much every type of commodity asset security and pretty much any type of real world asset, right, be tokenized. But the unfortunate part is it is such a big market that it's also extremely fragmented by geography, by asset class, by blockchain and use case, right? And unfortunately, as a result, I think it's been very difficult to create sort of a crypto voice. And as a result, I also think that we're losing the narrative from the decentralization and the components that real world assets bring to the table. We see a lot of the now biggest banks and asset managers in the world offering blockchain solutions, tokenizing products. And meanwhile, the crypto scene is sort of being left behind when it comes to this mega trend of tokenizing the world's hundreds of trillions of dollars in assets. And that's where the RWA Foundation will step in to help bring together all crypto natives who are excited about RWAs, who want to join together and take advantage of this new trend that's coming, pushing the concept of RWA governance tokens, a concept that we believe is critical to decentralizing and democratizing this new RWA infrastructure that will power the future of finance, right? So if you're excited about that, come and join us. Go check out RWAF.xyz and sign up for our newsletter, or on X, RWAF DAO, and on Telegram, the same deal. Come and join the community. It's already stomping, if you will. And I'm excited to give you this weekly update. We've got incredible partners from the biggest platforms in the world: Securitize, Archax, INX, T0, even across in Asia, Shintai, IX Swap, also representing a lot of different chains like Bricken through with Binance, MetaWealth with Solana. We've got Realty and Proppy along the real estate side, Denari and Swarm on the tokenized stocks front, infrastructure like Credora, Particula, Chronicle Labs, and other Oracle type applications, right? So we've brought together the whole community, including the chains themselves, to really get together and make sure we can push the Web3 RWA sector together. So join us, and thank you, everybody. I hope to see you in the community. Let's get on with the show. Well, all right. We've got Nico Pantelis back on the show. He's, of course, the famed VC at Blue Bay Ventures, the RWA-focused venture firm. It's been in the space forever now, and is also a proud investor in STM. And, of course, Kyle, we've got a crazy show this week. I think we got to kick it off with what we were talking about right before, which is Michael Saylor. And it wasn't because he's so bullish on Bitcoin. Everybody knows that.
He's a maniac.
The guy's a maniac. And we love him for it. But what we love him even more for is that just recently on Altcoin Daily, he came on the show and didn't talk about just Bitcoin. Guys, he talked about tokenization. It basically started saying, why aren't we trading Apple stock 24/7, 365? Why are we tokenizing all kinds of different assets? Obviously, capital markets are broken in comparison to the capabilities of tokenization. So, Larry Fink, he was sort of the big, face of tokenization at the beginning of this year. We've seen a lot of other names and candidates from the incumbents come into the game, but Michael Saylor, I think he's one of us. He's a crypto guy now. He's sort of TradFi still, but he's really come to the dark side. And now he sees not just Bitcoin as the future, but also tokenization. I'm curious to hear your thoughts, both of you.
Well, it's been quite a week for Michael Saylor. Just to give everybody context on what he's been doing is he's been leveraging his company's equity to acquire Bitcoin. And so it makes sense that he sees the tokenization being a huge opportunity here because he's been getting smoked by short sellers. And so this actually feels very much like the Patrick Byrne days. I don't know if anybody remembers that interesting period of tokenization, but Herwig and I were covering it here on the show. Overstock.com was very active in the crypto space, and they were facing extreme short sellers. So they actually issued a dividend, which was a tokenized share of Overstock that required actually owning and locating the shares, which put short sellers in a really tough position because they didn't actually own the shares. And it caused a significant arbitrage window between a lot of these different assets, despite the fact that they were fungible. And it did actually work very well in repairing the outstanding short interest. We're seeing something similar with MicroStrategy right now. So as I mentioned, they've been taking out a lot of debt and acquiring Bitcoin. And so actually, MicroStrategy is an $82 billion market cap stock as of this morning, Friday morning of November 22nd. Just 1 week ago, they were about 70 billion. And then they increased almost by double. Their stock price went from $340 on Monday of this week. So literally 4 days ago, it was $345. By Thursday, so 3 days later, it was $540. So it was almost doubled on an $80 billion company, right? This is not some small, micro cap crypto. And then yesterday, it absolutely collapsed. All of that value came down in the same day from Wednesday at close all the way through until Thursday. And so we're seeing extreme volatility in this stock right now because there is super heavy short interest. So while I do believe he is super bullish on tokenization, I also see there being a potential opportunity here to follow the Patrick Byrne playbook and shake out a lot of shorts. So that's, I think, the other side of this equation. Nico, where are your head at?
Do you think these same shenanigans are going on with the MSTR stock?
I certainly think
it's a bigger size than what Patrick had.
It's certainly bigger, but it worked well with Patrick. And I think Saylor's been rewarded with his perspectives on this market. And he's directionally correct. I mean, that's the other side of this, is that like, this is kind of almost like guilt-free style of solution, because I do think from our perspective, we're obviously biased here, but like he's correct. Right? That tokenization is the future of these markets. They are incredibly inefficient. A lot of these processes don't function as they were naturally intended. And many people even believe in general, shorting is actually not even good for the market. It was illegal for a long time. And so because of that, there are, I think, a lot of fair complaints that he has around the existing traditional infrastructure and what tokenization provides. He certainly sees that firsthand with his exposure to Bitcoin. So I do think that there's probably two narratives here going on. One in terms of defending his stock price, but the other one in terms of his real evangelism for the tokenization space.
For me, it's always about following the money. Why people incentivized to start saying stuff and doing things? That's my interest as an investor. And the same as with Larry Fink, the incentive is creating a new business model, especially for BlackRock and the likes, which are coming massively online, by the way. Popping news items popping up every day, in my opinion, now. But for Saylor, Michael Saylor, it's he already has a business model, of course, what he has created with MicroStrategy and the Bitcoin adoption strategy. But the wheel has to keep spinning in the future. And that wheel keeps spinning, in my opinion, only if capital keeps flowing into the system. And what I also mentioned to Herwig before, we had a short, brief conversation before this show, Wall Street and the TradFi bros are not always fond of putting all their capital into some crypto coin. They are used to treasury bills and other bonds or stock portfolios. And that's what they really like to see online. And if these products are available for them, they will shove in their billions and trillions onto these blockchains, in my opinion. And if that happens, when the bear market, that's also why I think that Larry Fink and BlackRock always says, hey, Bitcoin is a risk-off asset, which is not acting like it currently, but they see it as a diversifier risk-off asset. I think is because if the bear market steps in, when TradFi is onboarded, then this capital will flow into Bitcoin and not into other meme coins or whatever is running the meta at that moment. So that's also why I think that Michael Saylor has jumped on the tokenization bandwagon, because he sees that the wheel keeps spinning when tokenization is introduced to all these other blockchains. That's my 2 cents.
Herwig, where's your head at?
I think you're both spot on, Kyle. I did not consider the actual potential
reverse incentives here.
Yeah, that would be that. I mean, that might be. We've been talking about the fact that RWAs as a sector are missing its rockstar product. Okay, yeah, treasuries are gaining some steam and such, but it's not as sexy, right? Bitcoin and Ethereum brought on so many people into crypto, into Web3. They are the rock star products. And as much as I love the St. Regis in Aspen as a cool sort of example people talk about, it's just, it hasn't hit that status, right? MicroStrategy tokenizing its stock is a rock star product for the RWA sector that will bring volume, trading, mechanics, case studies, infrastructure. It will be built completely around, and even more so than what's happening with BUIDL and other similar products, right? Slowly but surely, they will be the building blocks and the market mechanics, the money management systems really behind the future on-chain markets, right? But that's a different landscape than what we're talking about here of just how do we bring investors into this industry at scale. And we need rockstar products, and I would love to see Michael Saylor do this. We'd be happy to help him. If you need some advice, we're here in Miami too, Michael, so we can stop by. Happy to give you some advice.
Selfishly, I hope
and what I also find rather interesting is I found that I think that Saylor has the same kind of vibes over him. He's a kind of rebel guy. He's like the anti-establishment person. The same as the former Overstock CEO and T0 guy. So yeah.
Let's hope it ends up a little bit better for him, though.
Yeah.
No kidding. Let's avoid Russian spies.
But selfishly, I hope that this happens because if you remember when Overstock...
Listen to the show, Michael Saylor. Listen to the show.
When Overstock
avoid Russian spies.
to bring it back. When Overstock did their stock sale, it was a really interesting dynamic. And Herwig and I covered this, and I felt like I was shouting from the hilltops, like Cassandra from the Greek mythology, because there was like a $50 spread between the tokenized Overstock shares and the public market.
No, but Kyle, the whole GameStop saga, it's a real problem on Wall Street still. This naked short selling is just a complete mind-boggling concept, and it's still via all kinds of opaque constructions. These guys can still naked short the hell out of stocks if they want, and a stock like MicroStrategy, that's a gift from heaven for these guys, huh? So I can understand that.
Honestly, I'm saying I hope they do it, because if that arbitrage window opens again, you better believe that I will be disclosing but farming the shit out of it, because we called this the last time, and Herwig and I tried to be objective journalists last time. I'm not missing that opportunity this time around.
We'll just disclose.
No, but it will change. It will change a lot of things. If these stocks get tokenized and the public gets their liquidity into these products, these new tokenized equities, that will be an amazing event.
We are seeing the rise of tokenized stocks, Swarm, Denari, Backed, Stoker. Many of them are getting into the game. So we'll already do see likely, MicroStrategy as a tokenized stock, right? And Kyle and I remember this vividly from the FTX days when they had their tokenized stock market, and Grayscale was sometimes the number one traded product by volume.
Huge margin.
Yeah, by a huge margin. Tesla, Apple, like they never. That's a good one. They were never able to catch up. But the point I'm trying to make is that MicroStrategy could be that new number one traded product that could come to market. So I think it could be interesting to monitor any kind of activity around that sense.
Totally agree.
Guys, what else is happening in the market? We talked about, and you guys weren't on the show last week, but we talked about, now there is a new tokenization platform by Tether, given their just size in terms of minting capability and size of USDT there. Sure. You could make the argument the number one RWA, tokenizer in the world. And now they've got a full-on end-to-end engine for everything from, they say, bonds to commodities to stocks to even loyalty points. With Hadron, I'm not sure exactly the pronunciation. And then we've seen, of course, and know the relationship between Bitfinex and the fact that they're licensed and have been starting to tokenize RWAs already and bring products to market, including treasury bills, it looks like, in the El Salvador market just recently. So any insights? I wanted to definitely also get your thoughts on this one since we missed you last week.
Yeah, for me, this is maybe a strange insight, because I think Tether is the most profitable company in the world at this moment, besides maybe MicroStrategy. But I think they push 6 billion with 6 guys or something on a desk. Strangely enough, this business model, I think it's dead. It's already dead, in essence.
Because not DEAD, right?
Dead, and this will not go on very, very long anymore, because these TradFi guys and these other institutions will will ask for the margin because it's theirs in their opinion. And I've been talking to teams, when I make my rounds and I talk to new teams, they're going to come to market with product which will offer treasury note returns plus and very safe. So if these guys don't switch their channel or don't switch the business model quickly, I think it could be an avalanche for them in the next bear market.
Interesting.
There will be a huge compression around this market. I totally agree, Nico. We're already, seeing the infrastructure build out to the point where we also all know and understand blockchain. Like one day, it's not going to be hard to bridge the gap to pay directly out of yield-bearing accounts, right? Whatever product it may be, whatever regulation needs to catch up. But the future won't be let's keep assets in idle cash ever. It'll be
let's keep all the margin. That's not going to happen anymore.
No. Like Wall Street is not going to just give that up willingly. And we know where everything's headed in that.
Yeah, and also if there's margin to be disrupted in technology, it will be disrupted. So your margin is my business model, and that's what this thing is. It's the biggest margin event in the world in the last 10 years or something like that. So they will be disrupted very quickly.
That's one of the best Jeff Bezos quotes ever. Your margin is my opportunity.
Yeah, it's what it is, and there will be Amazons coming for Tether margin. Absolutely.
Without a doubt, it's a price war to the bottom eventually, and we
but
all
it's a good
know.
thing if these guys push because they have the biggest distribution channel worldwide with their stable coin. So if they next to their stable coins start launching tokenization efforts, the world will open up, guys.
That's what we're looking for. That's what we're hoping for.
Absolutely.
And so we're
very excited that you're coming, Mr. Tether.
Kyle.
Yeah, guys, to round it out, I have one other article to close out this amazing opening segment. Already 22 minutes in. And I just wanted to shout out El Salvador and get your guys' thoughts on what this country has been able to do. Because in 2 years, they have adopted Bitcoin as legal tender, which was absolutely criticized heavily by the international theater, from the IMF to the World Bank to a lot of these individuals claiming they were going to default on all their debt. Now, not only have they actually turned a surplus on all government debt due to their position being up like almost 120, 130% on, however, hundreds of millions of dollars, right? So a serious return here. They are now launching tokenized U.S. treasuries on their market. This is going to be government-sanctioned U.S. treasuries that are tokenized, and they are bringing tokenized debt products into their economy through this system. Is this kind of the next level of what they've been able to do, or is this just kind of a gimmick? I want to hear what you guys think about. Is this kind of, are we going to look back on this 2 years from now and say, wow, now they have all these products, everything's tokenized, or is this kind of just a flag in the bucket because we think that treasuries maybe are on the downswing due to rate changes? I wanted to hear your guys' perspective.
Go ahead, Herwig.
Well, in my opinion, I think if you wanted to go even more macro, I think if you look at El Salvador, what's happening over there is if you look at all of the sort of island nations and developing countries that have a chance to look at this sort of current regulatory arbitrage and the opportunity to become a competitive capital market, to maybe compare to obviously the US, but London, Singapore, Hong Kong, other places, right? This is their opportunity. And El Salvador is grabbing the bull by the horns, if you will, not just by going bullish on Bitcoin, but by also seeing the future of, I think, you could see a very robust tokenized capital market infrastructure that comes out of El Salvador over the next 5 to 10 years. And that will attract certain projects. And if that requires also having all of the foundation, all of the infrastructure from potentially U.S. treasuries, right, to their own bonds, to Bitcoin, and everything else that needs to kind of come into the ecosystem, right, in order to have a healthy and liquid market of products and trading. So will that happen? That's what they're I think going to be fighting for, but it's all baby steps to get there, and I think this is all part of the journey. So that's sort of how I interpret that, Kyle.
Got it. Nico, any thoughts on El Salvador?
Yeah, I think that's an interesting insight from Herwig. I think also that it is more to signal and to wave the flag to the wealthy, especially U.S. counterparts, to come over and join the party in El Salvador, which of course is a building base or a building block for what you just told the public, told the people, Herwig. But it is presented as a product. I think also the partnership with Bitfinex is not to be underestimated. It's they have a good relationship, in my opinion. So it's a bit scratching each other's back, maybe. But providing this product for the local people, I think it's a strange thing because El Salvador is maybe not under a Trump regulatory, but in the current administration, they're not very fond of the U.S. So launching U.S. the core product from the financial U.S. market, it's kind of a strange move, in my opinion, for these guys. But hey, we'll see. We'll see.
At the end of the day, whatever brings back any kind of
whatever brings back
US
the money
Treasuries,
is okay.
I'm happy about. But I think that's a good time to end our segment this week, guys. Thank you as always, Nico.
By the way, guys. By the way, last mention. Congratulations with the RWA Foundation. Good, very good call. I think this industry needs such an initiative. It's very, very cool. And what I especially found very cool is the mascot Wally, because Wally is the elephant in the room.
Well, Nico, as we like to say, trunks up, everybody. So we'll see you in the foundation, and let's head on with the show. Great interview with Carlos, friend of the show. Always nice to have him on. Securitize crushing it in the game as always. As we close out this year, Kyle, we are now moving on to our companies of the week. You want to tell the listeners what it's all about?
Well, if you've heard the show before, you may be familiar with the companies of the week segment. This is, look, folks, trust and respect and order is what we stand for on this show. We cut through the BS. And I'm going to cut through the BS right here in saying that this is the most prestigious award in all of tech. There's like literally not a single thing that you could receive across the board than winning the Company of the Year award. This is one company that Herwig and I have selected 4 or 5 years now in the running, who made the biggest, most important impacts to our industry of RWAs and tokenized assets. And the only way you can even be considered for this illustrious award is by being nominated, not by your peers, not by your friends, your employees, your investors. We know they love you, but nominated by Herwig and myself in the Companies of the Week segment. That's right. Every week on Fridays, Herwig and I pick one company each that we think made the biggest impact in the industry for one reason or another. Could be because they were innovating or doing something novel. It could be because they had a lot of success. Could be for some other reason entirely, as Herwig has famously coined, the regulator of the week in some cases. But 2 nominations every week for a chance to win Company of the Year award. Herwig, I think I've rolled out the red carpet. With bated breath, I cannot wait to hear who is your winner for this week's episode 262.
Only 2 companies get a chance this week. My company of the week, it's none other than Sky. Got to give it to Sky. I absolutely love the fact that they are launching their USDS on Solana. And I think that's a really smart move because Solana is tearing right now for one. But they've really, shown a promising infrastructure with a real community behind it, with real activity. And they are more than just a meme coin chain, I think is what they're proving that, whether it's stable coins or even other RWAs, they're going to be here. And Sky, I think, is being very forward thinking. They're clearly going through, their huge rebrand from MakerDAO recently, right? Or from, so ultimately, I think this is part of their strategy of, really realigning themselves with a new image that Solana fits the bill for. And I think Sky's going to do very well. I think they're doing a really good job. And we all know the track record behind the company is exceptional. So I'm excited to see this new stable coin on the game. Second one, we know PayPal, I think is also on Solana, right? So see that activity, but good for Sky. And I'm excited to see them continue to roll out this whole new infrastructure, Kyle, because it will continue to be a trend for 2025. Stable coins, payments, treasures, and beyond. So congratulations, Sky. But you're not the only winner this week. Kyle, you've also got one. Go for it.
Herwig, I think you made a good choice in selecting the former MakerDAO company that is now rebranded as Sky. I think it's important to remember that the Sky stablecoin is worth about $5 billion in outstanding stablecoins. This is the 10th largest market cap token on CoinMarketCap. So this is no small asset or no small company. So definitely a really great choice in my opinion. Herwig, my company this week has done something that not many companies have done in the tokenized securities space. We've been covering new offerings, or as we call them now, market movements for years. 5 years to be exact now, over 5 years, in fact, because it's now November and we started this in the summer of 2019. Many companies, they love announcing fundraises. And not just fundraise closes, it's much more common to announce the fundraise opening. We are raising $100 million. Give us praise. And yet they don't actually raise very much money at all. So I do think it's so important to highlight successful fundraisers, successful token issuances in the industry. And so for that reason, my winner this week is Oxbridge, Oxbridge RE. And so what Oxbridge is doing is they're actually doing insurance. So they are an insurance provider that does tokenized reinsurance. So the way reinsurance works is that you actually, if you have a car, you sell car insurance, but the car insurance company actually gets insurance on their insurance, right? So reinsurance is actually a huge industry that many people don't know about. And it's a pretty good industry. Insurance companies make a ton of money. Insurance is a great business model because provided that you structure it the right way, you're always going to be making money because you know how many people are going to call back their insurance, and so you can charge your premiums accordingly. There are many, many billionaires that have been minted in the insurance industry. And Oxbridge has successfully raised $2.4 million selling digital securities backed by their reinsurance contracts. So these are underwritten contracts that then are sold. And so they raised a 2.4 million capital injection. Then they raised another 2.88 through a sidecar structure on additional tokenized reinsurance securities. And their target return this year alone is 42%, which is nuts. Like that's a crazy return on insurance. And they have actually announced that they are launching another tranche of this fundraise. And so it's been so successful, they're raising more. Sounds like they've raised close to $5 million, if I understand this correctly. If it's not 2.4 up to 2.8, I think it might be two separate raises already. But if it's not, they've at least raised a couple $1 million in digital securities. And it's been a very successful product. And so I'm just really impressed by this product offering. They're based in the Caymans, so I'm a little less familiar with how those business structures work. Obviously, we prioritize US-based enterprise operations here, but I do think that this is a really amazing opportunity and cool to see Oxbridge selling a digital security successfully.
Well, Kyle, that's a fantastic choice for Company of the Week. Obviously, we love to see real activity, real financing happening, and hopefully a real market developing, not just talk. And that's what's clearly Oxbridge was able to do here, and some crazy returns. Sounds too good to be true. And insurance,
as they say,
the reinsurance market, folks. That's just like you said. It's one of those untapped markets for the average person. Could be very interesting use case for tokenization there. And that's our show, everybody. We are very happy this week that we were able to launch the RWA Foundation. Make sure you also follow us on Twitter, X at RWAF.xyz, as well as our Telegram if you want to join us there, and stay updated via our website. We got tons of announcements planned, tons of great initiatives with our members, and our white paper coming out soon. So stay tuned for that. And meanwhile, everything else you need, RWA is at stm.co. We're here. We're excited. 2025 is shaking up to be amazing. And 100K day could be any day now, Kyle.
That's right. That's right. Fingers are crossed. So with that, trunks up.
And happy tokenizing, everybody.